Welcome everyone to TFTC Reimagined Let's Play. This is Angel. We're continuing now with Battle 3 Mission 3. Today we're going to hold our position, waiting for the stalwart to arrive with some supplies to begin building our station in the Bakuni system. Vice Admiral Thrawn has taken the Victory-class Star Destroyer Stalwart to pick up and escort our convoy with all the necessary supplies and parts to begin construction of our new space station. He has left the modified frigate Ludwig behind to keep the system secure until the convoy arrives. Without the Stalwart to back us up, we will be more vulnerable to an attack, so your primary objective is to ensure the Ludwig's survival at all costs. Yeah, so in my memories of the original game, this mission stands out above most of the others because I always had a tough time with this mission. I think along with sort of Battle 1 Mission 5 where you had to take down the rebels starfighters from the Lulsla, this was one that I always had trouble with. You will be deployed with all TIE squadrons flying the TIE fighter designation. I just remember playing it over and over and over and over again. I think I was always having trouble killing enough of the fighters to stop the Ludwig from being destroyed. And my usual strategy was to try and at least destroy some of the turrets on the frigate so I could just try and blow it up. I'd often switch to space bombs to try and, at least knock out the shields. Because that's the best way to stop the attack, is if you can destroy the frigate Huntress, you can stop all the waves of fighters being spawned. To defend our position and wait for the convoy carrying the construction materials. So yeah, this mission is not going to be quite as hard, I think. Other than just launching a few more TIEs on your side, I haven't given the Ludwig any more support here. I have given the rebels more support from the pirates this time. They get a corvette, a Marauder corvette, come along to escort the frigate. But other than that, yeah, not a huge amount of changes in this mission. So off we go, and one thing I didn't mention in the last mission, well, I did mention in the last mission that I changed the nebula, but the planet in the background was also changed. It used to be in a much older texture, but for 1.2 we've got a nice high resolution planet, and the way the backdrops work is if in the editor, in a list format, you put the starfield first, and then anything below the starfield goes in front of the starfield. That's the way the game treats it. Anything below a backdrop, in descending order, goes in front of each other in game. So I experimented a little bit and decided that the planet looked much better kind of behind, as it were, the nebula backdrop, so it gets this kind of murky look to it rather than being a lot more well defined. So yeah, the planet here is actually behind the nebula backdrop, so and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. As I said in the last mission with the silhouette profiles of the ships,
TIE Fighter Group Alpha, stop.
It's much better than the 1.0, 1.1 versions of this nebula background. And unintentionally, you can see that ring around the star. This is just the way the nebula was randomly designed, but I thought that's a perfect place to just stick a sun in the middle of that ring. And the sun is also behind the nebula backdrop, which gives it a bit more of a murky look.
Hey one, taxi craft dead ahead.
So yeah, I think only a handful of Bakuni pirates attack in the original version of this campaign. Gave them a bit more to do this time, a few more attack you, but as I said, this mission is probably one of them at least unchanged in the Reimagined campaign. I think up there with Battle 2 Mission 3, where you rescue the refugees on the System Patrol Craft Glass. Aside from a few extra ships, this mission plays out exactly the same as the original. I didn't really see a need to change this one that much. I mean, I've said before, Reimagined isn't just about making everything bigger. It doesn't have to be a huge battle every time. You can just have these small engagements. I think it's just as important to have small little engagements as it is to have big ones, because if you have big ones all the time, it gets boring. Well, it certainly does for me anyway. I like to vary things up as much as I can, not just have you doing the same shit over and over again.
This is 3. Using your target for attack.
That's another thing we actually added. I think DTM actually added this. So you might notice that I don't have my laser recharge rate above nominal yet, but I'm only going 95 in my speedometer there. Normally the TIE fighter goes at 100. But DTM, when he made the TIE models, he added different model profiles, so there's basically additional geometry to the models for different functions. In this case, in this mission, we've got concussion missiles, so if you look at the TIE geometry in this mission, you should see under the wings, or at least the wing struts, launchers, concussion missile launchers, that have been added to the model geometry. And as a result of the increase in mass, we added in a line to the ini file which basically slightly reduces the speed and maneuverability of the TIE fighter. Well, I think just the speed, not the maneuverability, just the speed, to account for the extra mass that he has to contend with. It's just a little thing, but I like it. It's a nice little feature done there. And I think it's just for the TIE fighter and the TIE interceptor that we've done that. It's not really necessary for the others, obviously, but those two craft don't normally have launchers, so... don't really have too much to say on this mission. I'm really sorry. This is probably the quietest quietest mission I'm actually going to comment on. I'm trying to think if there's something else I can sort of bring up as a topic. Looks like the pirate corvette's down. Again, just love seeing the silhouettes of the frigate rather than all its detail. It is a lot harder to kill the frigate in this version, I'd say, especially because of the starship defense mechanism. You can't just fire some missiles or whatever at the turrets and disarm it so easily. You can get close and strafe the turrets, but you're in a TIE fighter. And things going to murder you if you don't jink about. But I think we'll give it a go anyway. You see, he's already targeting me. Move out of the way. It's just got one or two lasers going for me. But that's enough. I don't want to get too close to that thing. I suppose actually you can talk about the laser ranges. So in Reimagined, all laser ranges are out. All the laser ranges are usually twice the distance of Classic. In Classic, pretty much nothing can engage you in its lasers beyond 2 kilometers. Starship lasers only engage you at 2 kilometers. Fighter lasers, I think it's about 1.2 kilometers. X-Wing Alliance, by default, it has longer ranges, especially starships like Star Destroyers can fire up to 5-6 kilometers away, I think. But in terms of balance, we had to try and limit that. So with some executable functionality changes, we changed the laser ranges for classic so it matches the original as closely as possible, because initially what I did find was that it was really breaking some missions, because you'd end up with starships or shooting things that they shouldn't well before they got into range, and then the mission would fail because, well, you couldn't even get there in time to stop it from happening. And initially that just meant moving things further away, but this is obviously changing the outcome of the mission, or at least the way the mission plays out by doing that. It deviates more from it, and the whole point of Classic is to try and emulate the original TIE Fighter as closely as possible. That's always been our objective. But for Reimagined, I wanted to keep the longer ranges for longer engagements, and in this case fighters can shoot their lasers are almost 2.5 kilometers away. That's missile lock range basically as well, so it obviously gives you a better opportunity to, in a head-on engagement, to cause an enemy fighter that's attacking you to break off. Because the AI doesn't seem to use that. I'm guessing the AI's engagement logic is predefined to a certain range regardless of how far the laser ranges actually go. But you see now the Huntress is actually going down. I want to see if I can maybe get a hit on it, get a kill shot. Doesn't look like it. I'm just out of range and it's down anyway. So let's try and deal with these shuttles instead, and or not. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not gonna replay that. I finished the mission, and oh, yes, this bug. This has been an unfixable bug. This is the medical shuttle or transport. It has a hard-coded docking position that we've not been able to change, so that's why it looks like it's docking outside of the craft there. In other cases you might see it dock inside the wall or clip through the geometry. Unfortunately, not been able to fix that. Perhaps in the future, but until then that bug is going to have to stand.
The new station will begin immediately. Vice Admiral Thrawn is very pleased with the performance of his TIE starfighter units.
Yes, indeed. No, I didn't get the kill on the frigate. Oh well. Or at least an assist even. Bugger. Alright, well, let's head to the crew quarters. Oh, what do we got? Picture of Captain Finlay. I think, again, this is a cosplay thing that's part of you all's 501st thing. Cool. Any emails? No emails. Okay. Well, that's that mission then. Again, sorry I didn't have much to say on this one. Hopefully more to say on the next one. So join me then for that video. Until then, good hunting.